With the constant releases of $40, $50, and even $60 games, it's hard to keep up, and honestly, it gets really expensive after a while. Sometimes you get more value from a $5 game than one that's 10 times the price. How's it going, everyone? I'm Caleb from Cubo Gaming, and here is my top 10 picks for the best Steam games that you can get that are $5 or less. You know, I want to say that I really try to stay away from the larger known AAA games in this list, so if you see some games you've never heard of, then I accomplished my goal. I also am excluding seasonal sales, so no matter when you watch this video, the games are always priced the same. Starting out this list, I have Armored Head. So Armored Head is essentially Doom without the robots and without the story. You play as a gladiator in an arena, and your goal is to fight off the 30 or so waves of robots in order to win the prize. And there are secrets all around the arena, and the more gold coins you collect, the more features and abilities you can unlock and use. Honestly, I love how the game looks, and the gunplay is extremely solid. Like I said before, it's basically a smaller version of Doom with robots. The game is single player, but for just $2.99, I honestly think the game offers some really fun gameplay to allow it a spot in your Steam library. So if you're looking for a ridiculously fun and crazy weird game to play with a friend, then Who's Your Daddy is the game you're looking for. Who's Your Daddy places you as one of two characters. You can either play as the dad or the baby. If you're the dad, then your goal is to find your baby and prevent it from killing itself. If you play as the baby, then your goal is to do everything you can to kill yourself. I know at first it sounds morbid, but the premise of the game is so weird, but it's oddly addicting, and it's one of those games that you'll probably die laughing while playing with a friend. And the game runs for $4.99 on Steam, and like I said, if you can get a friend to play with, I really recommend this one. If you're into city builders, then Islanders is a great option for you. The game differs from other city building games in that you don't need to grind for your resources. Instead, you build your cities on different islands and climates, and as you place more buildings and expand, you gain more points, and with those points you can unlock new buildings. The game is really relaxing and very well received on Steam, holding an overwhelmingly positive status. The colors are vibrant and there's an endless amount of possibilities. The game is $4.99, and if you're into these types of games, I think it's worth looking into. Stick Fight is a crazy 2 to 4 player combat game where you play as a stick figure in short matches. The game drops items randomly during each match, like guns or swords, and as of right now, there are 100 different maps. Not only that, but over 23,000 community-made maps and a level editor. Really, the game is just a crazy fast combat game that can be a lot of fun with friends and does have an active community, so you won't have any trouble finding people to fight. Oh, and the game goes for $2.99 on Steam. So if by chance you don't know what Geometry Dash is, it's what's called a precision platformer. You essentially press one button to perfectly time your jumps or other actions to finish the level. The game also heavily relies on music audio cues and has some of the best rhythm-based music you'll ever hear. Geometry Dash is honestly extremely addicting, and no matter how much you may rage, you'll somehow always find yourself coming back to play more. You can pick up Geometry Dash for $3.99 on Steam. If you're looking for a game that you can play casually every now and then, Superflight is one you should look into. So you fly across all kinds of different vibrant landscapes, and the closer to the mountains you get, the more points you get. It's a really simple concept, but you'd be surprised how many hours people have gotten from it on Steam. Not to mention, it also holds an overwhelmingly positive status also. The game is $2.99 on Steam, and if you need something casual to have in your library, I really recommend this one. So, Forge and Fight is actually a game that released just recently. So you play as a little warrior slash blacksmith, and you create your own over-the-top weapons to use in online arenas. You have a huge variety of weapons to combine together, and really the possibilities are endless. The game allows you to kind of go crazy with your designs, and then just hop in against other players. Honestly, the concept of this one sounds really interesting, and I can see this becoming really popular in the near future. The game is new, but I think for $4.99, you can get a lot of playtime out of it. Having an overwhelmingly positive status on Steam, Boris and the Survival is an adventure strategy game where you go through all kinds of different missions to uncover the lore of the game. You play through the missions while trying to avoid the different kinds of enemies. Now, the game is a horror game, but I find it to be more of an interesting mystery game. I personally love games with an underlying story that you have to uncover, and this one definitely falls under that category. And this one is higher up on the list, but I put it up here because I think it's a lot different than other games, and I think it offers a very unique and interesting experience. Honestly, for $2.99, this is a great option for a single player game. If you've ever played Prop Hunt in Gary's Mod, this game is basically that mode made into an entire dedicated game. So basically there are two teams, props and hunters. If you're a prop, you have time before each match to transform into a prop and hide, while the hunters have to find and kill the props before the time runs out. The game's graphics and colors look amazing, and the game has an active community. In all honesty, I think this game might be the majority of people's favorite game from this list. And if you're like me and Prop Hunt is one of your favorite, if not your favorite game mode in Gmod, then Peekaboo is gonna be a game you're gonna want to pick up, and you can get it on Steam for $4.99. So for my number one pick is actually a game I finished recently, and I have to say that I really enjoyed it. If you've ever played Little Nightmares, Inside, or similar games in that genre, Scene fits right in with the rest. Now, it is a side-scrolling puzzle platformer like the rest, but it also has some timed running sequences that at first can seem pretty weird. Overall though, I think they actually broke up the gameplay a bit and worked out in the end. Those running sequences paired with the gameplay and the puzzle areas are reasons among others on why this game sets itself apart from others in the genre. Now, the real reason I have this as my first pick is the story it tells. You play as a sad boy that travels around the world and basically sees nothing but hate. And I don't want to spoil it, but it's a game where you'll take something away from. Not only that, but the puzzles and the gameplay is something I found to be really fun and enjoyable. But in all honesty, I think that the underlying messages and the overall deep concept that the game entertains is really why I have it up at the first pick. The game is just under $2, and with the story and the experience you're getting, it's a must try. Alright, that's going to be it for this list. I hope you found some games you can add to your library, and if I missed some, or maybe you have some budget games that you want to share, let me know in the comments. And leaving a like and subscribing to the channel is always appreciated, and don't forget to join our